Real quick before we get into the review, just gotta thank the people over on Patreon, because without their support, a lot of this upgraded content you see on the channel would not be possible. And I gotta say, on top of being able to respond to you guys in the DMs, you know, one of the fun things about the Patreon is every 3 months we do an anime and manga haul, and there's a lot of good goodies in that one. You also get sneak peeks at videos that haven't made their way onto the channel yet. I'm still figuring out what to do for actual YouTube memberships, so leave a suggestion down in the comment section below. But with that being said, thank you so much for all of you guys' support, and now let's get into the review. Yo, what's going on everybody? It's your boy Naruto Explained here, bringing you guys a review for Boruto episode 198, which is titled Monsters. And now that episode 198 is done in the books, man, we got a lot to talk about, because manga fans have been waiting about 3 years to actually see this actual fight animated in the anime. And I gotta say, there are actually times in this episode where there are things that happen in the actual anime that take place in the manga, where the manga actually did it a lot better than what you saw in the anime. And people that watch my manga reviews know that I critique the manga art quite a bit, but there are a few sequences in the episode today where the manga absolutely nailed it better. But I do like how there are times in this episode where you can look at things and you can tell very clearly that they've gone through and they've actually changed some of the events in the actual sequences in order to make things appear to be a little bit smoother for the viewing audience. So I thought that that was a nice touch and nice addition by the anime director that's overseeing this part of the series right now. One sequence I would say that was actually done better in the manga than the actual anime would definitely be that moment when Naruto's dodging Delta's attacks, and Delta's in the air and she's got all those leg extensions that are just coming straight down, and they're piercing the ground, and they're strong enough that they can pierce through Naruto when he's in his chakra mode and actually do some damage to him. Well, Naruto just unleashes a lava style Rasen Shuriken. I thought that the manga version was a lot better. I thought it was more dynamic, and I also thought that, you know, actually seeing Naruto call out the attack was something that definitely need to be done in the anime, because a lot of people were still confused as to how Naruto could use the power that comes from a tailed beast, which I still don't understand. People are confused why Naruto can still tap into some of that Biju chakra. But I thought that the manga version was very, very well done. I thought the anime kind of rushed to it too quickly. I really feel like the anime should have just paused a little bit on that scene to kind of build up to it better. You know, that's not to say that the episode itself was bad. I'm not saying that. I actually enjoyed this episode. I think that they went just about 2 chapters or just under 2 chapters, and for the most part it's pretty faithful to what you see in the manga. But I will say, you know, the lack of creativity that Ikimoto shows as a mangaka when it comes to action sequences, it really kind of shows right here. And when the animation studio kind of faithfully goes panel by panel for its action sequences, you see a huge difference in a fight like this than the, say, Naruto and Sasuke versus Momoshiki in the anime, or even Team 7 against Deepa, the rematch. You see a huge difference in just the creativity of the actual action sequences. So I have some faith that next week in episode 189 is going to be a little bit different. They're going to spice it up a little bit more, just based off of the fact that they got some big time animators working on next week's episode. So I will say that, you know, for sticking to it faithfully, the animation team still did a better job of showing you that Naruto was in complete control of this fight than the actual manga did, because there was a lot of confusion right before Kawaki said in the actual chapter that, like, yo, Naruto's in control of this fight. Then the chapter before that, I had a bunch of comments that were in the comment section. I saw this on other YouTubers videos as well, where people are saying, I don't get why Naruto's struggling against this person. It was not clear to a lot of people at the time that Naruto's in control. In this fight here, in this version, the anime slowed down enough of those sequences to where it became very clear very early on, in my opinion, that Naruto was fighting very restrained, and at the same time Naruto was still in control of the fight and still leading the fight, and it became clear before Kawaki even said one word. We're at a point now to where anime fans should be seeing the same thing that manga fans saw 3 years ago, which is the power balance has changed in the Boruto era now. Because Naruto, the fact that Naruto even had to go into his chakra mode to fight off Delta, while, yeah, sure, Naruto was in complete control of that fight, the fact is that that should show you how strong Delta is, and the fact that Delta is not the strongest car member. Hell, she's probably not even a top 3 strongest remaining car member right now. The fact that Delta could push Naruto into his chakra mode, that should make you start looking at the rest of these members in the car organization and start wondering how strong they actually are, because that says a lot about their power right there, to where, you know, Delta and base, you know, there were a couple times where when Naruto's fighting her in base mode where Naruto had to keep his guard up, and when they first started fighting, it was one of those things the anime did a good job of actually showing you that they were really just testing each other out, trying to see, you know, how far they need to actually push each other. And I think you get a good opportunity to see that when Naruto actually grabs Delta by the leg, slams her down, and then proceeds to try and put a Rasengan to her face. That was a moment right there to where, you know, Naruto wasn't the biggest Rasengan, but Naruto's like, look, I think this should be enough to actually take her out. And that's when you get the revelation that, like, Delta, the scientific ninja weapon tech eyes that she has are able to actually absorb, which it should be worth noting, all the members of Car are just like Kawaki in the sense that all of them have had their bodies heavily augmented, or in the case of Delta and Kawaki, their entire bodies have been augmented with scientific ninja weapon tech, and that's going to be very huge going forward. So I thought the anime did a good job of actually setting that up, and I do like how, you know, you see those moments where Naruto's just taking in the entire scene and he's realized, like, okay, you know, this isn't going to be as easy as I thought it was going to be. You really see it in the anime a lot better in the manga. You see how Naruto's just very slowly ramping it up, and just as Delta thinks she's getting an upper hand, Naruto's kicking her away. And I like how Kawaki kind of points something out that the anime did a better job of showing you, which is the fact that Naruto's really trying to steer this battle away from Himawari, especially Himawari and Boruto and Kawaki. He's trying to get further away to where he doesn't have to hold back, because the thing you have to kind of keep in mind is that Naruto, even though he's in that QB chakra mode and he's fighting off against Delta, the thing you have to keep in mind is that even though Naruto's in his chakra mode and he's fighting semi-serious, he can't really cut loose right now because he's literally right next door to the academy. Last episode showed you to where they're in the wooded area, the personal training ground of the Hokage, behind the Hokage tower. The academy's right next to that. The Jonin tower is a little further over. That's why Naruto's telling Ino, like, don't tell anybody to come here, just tell them to secure the perimeter, because this is the situation where Naruto's trying to gather intel. I like that you see this restrained version of Naruto fighting, because even though he's using a lava release Rasen Shuriken, when you look at it, Naruto's directing that attack to go further up into the sky. That way it doesn't do any damage to the actual village. That's why you're not seeing a Kurama avatar or anything like that, because Naruto has to protect his village first and foremost. So I thought that was kind of cool to see that. I thought it was cool to see that. I also like how, you know, Naruto is playing the jokes on Delta, and Delta repeatedly is calling this dude a trickster, which Kakashi's somewhere watching this fight saying, yo, that's the #1 hyperactive knuckleheaded ninja for a reason. We've been told you guys, where you been? Like, I like that little moment right there to where, you know, Naruto's like, yeah, I was just trying to get intel out of you. And they kind of poke fun at the shonen trope of, like, if you allow the bad guy to get the upper hand for a while and you get them talking, they're gonna spill all their plans, and Delta stops just short, which I thought was interesting. The whole purpose of this fight was for Naruto to, #1, get an idea of how strong these car members are, because the way that Naruto likely at this point in time thought about handling Car was having somebody like Sasuke actually deal with them. So being able to get an accurate gauge of how much power he needs to use lets him know whether or not this is something that he can just assign as S-rank missions to allow Jonin like Sai and Konohamaru and Rock Lee to actually handle, or whether or not this needs to be something to where it's Sasuke who needs to go out on this mission and handle these folks. So I thought that was kind of cool to actually see Naruto very slowly ramp it up. Even when Delta, you can tell Delta's going all out against against Naruto. Even during that exchange, Naruto's really more so just matching her intensity and slowly kind of adding a little bit more to it, trying to figure out what her abilities are before he really goes in for the kill. And the biggest things that Naruto learns is that number one, Delta can absorb ninjutsu and fire it back, and then she can also see ninjutsu like the vanishing Rasengan because of that drone that she has. She can actually see the actual progression of where that Rasengan is going and absorb it, and then she's able to actually fire it back. The other thing that he learns is that she has these eye beams that take up a lot of chakra to use, but when she uses those eye beams, she can actually destroy your body on a molecular level to where even somebody like Naruto isn't able to actually regenerate from that damage, which is a very deadly attack. And Delta goes as far as to actually use Himawari as bait in order to actually get that attack off. And when she throws Himawari into the air, just before that, you get this beautiful shot of where the anime changed some stuff and you see Boruto go into his karma seal trying to protect Himawari. Very nice addition, but Naruto doesn't even hesitate. He goes straight to rescue his daughter, doesn't care about his body at that point. That's something very nice to see, the father side of Naruto, and you see how Naruto is a father and Naruto is a Hokage. They're beginning to conflict at that point. So very nice element there, and I like how Kawaki actually gives up his own body and takes in the damage, knowing that he can't actually repair himself when Delta hits him with that jutsu. And Delta's absolutely livid because if you guys will recall, when they talked about the vessel going missing, Delta said that they spent enough money to buy a small country in order to have the vessel prepared. That's how much ninja tech they put into Kawaki's body, enough to fund an entire country. So she's absolutely livid at what happened, but she only really has herself to be pissed off at, but she's gonna take it out on Naruto. When it comes to next week's episode preview, that's very straightforward. Essentially, that's more than likely going to be the actual end of this actual fight because there's not much more to actually cover from the actual battle sequence. You know, Naruto's probably gonna get a little bit more enraged when he fights after seeing Himawari targeted and after seeing the damage that Kawaki went under. I'm expecting them to kind of freelance a little bit more next week because they followed the manga almost verbatim in this episode today. They just restructured some stuff and added some extra sequences to make it clear that Naruto's in control. But what I will say in closing is my episode question to you guys is, where does Delta rank in your opinion when it comes to the power of Naruto antagonists that we've had so far in the entire franchise? So do you think Delta's stronger than White Mask Obito? Do you think that she's stronger than Jinchuriki Madara? Do you think she's weaker than Kaguya? Let me know where you guys actually rank her in, say, your top 5 of Naruto antagonists. And then the other thing is what do you think about ninja tech being able to increase the power levels of normal people to a level like this? And I'll say this in closing for me, I think this actually shows you quite a bit. Naruto, the reason why Naruto's in so much control, yes, he's so powerful, but the other thing is Naruto trained to acquire that power for years upon years. Delta had that power thrust upon her, and you can see it in her fighting style. She knows how to use it, but at the same time, she doesn't know how to use it because she isn't as skilled. But as always, guys, if you like anything I had to say, don't forget to comment, rate, subscribe, and share. Thank you so much for watching until the end. Have an awesome day, guys.